Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to this series, this client spotlight series on sacred feminine pleasure. And I'm joined by the lovely Fatima. Now, she joined the second round of sacred feminine pleasure. So I wanted to interview her today to find out what her experience was like in a container with other women to heal. And I wanted to ask her a few questions. So Fatima, let's get straight to it. What made you sign up for sacred feminine pleasure?
So basically, your Instagram popped up on my page, on my Instagram page, and the term wealth hypnotist kind of made me interested. I thought, oh, like that's really interesting. So I started looking through your page. Your content was very interesting. Like it really appealed to me in terms of the way you explain things. You're very eloquent. It sounded like you were speaking to me almost. So when I started getting interested, I went to your page, your web page, and I read your ebooks just to find out a little bit more about you. And I loved the story that you told, um, and everything that you went through and how you explained it. It was just so amazing to have kind of stumbled across your page. So when I read it, one thing that really like made me think, okay, this is like really interesting was the fact that because you had gone through so much and you healed from it, um, you bring that experience as well as just your knowledge about the healing process. So the fact that you healed yourself and you went through all those stages, I thought, okay, I haven't seen anyone else in the healing space bring that type of like full conviction in their healing and actually say that, okay, I've healed and so I can help you. I mean, I've seen it in terms of maybe like health or fitness and things like that, but when it came to like actual trauma, a lot of the things I heard was like, it takes a lifetime to heal. It's a lifelong process. You have to do it for the rest of your life. And but with you, it was like, no, you can heal very quickly. You just need to have the right tools. You need to have the right coach, the right energy. And so, yeah. So then I started with the feminine energy audio, and I really liked the audio. I mean, at first it was so weird because I didn't know how to relax. And then after a few times of doing it, I relaxed, and then I really liked it. So then after that, when I saw the Sacred Feminine Pleasure program come up, I thought, this is something I'm definitely interested in. And so, yeah, that's what made me sign up.
Oh my God, Fatima, I love that. And
Yeah.
I wanted to add here that coaching you in the last 8 weeks has been such an amazing experience. Like, I'm gonna cry.
Oh, that's really sweet. I had an amazing experience as
Oh,
well. Alhamdulillah,
girl.
it was great. It was great.
Alhamdulillah, like coaching was amazing. The questions you asked was amazing. I just want to honor you and say thank you to you for making the container so amazing, so energetic, so like just so healing as well, because you brought your energy to the container and that's what really helped as well. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for signing up. I just want to say thank you again. So grateful for you that you are willing to be part of this space and you're willing to invest
Mm.
in yourself. I think the biggest thing is that you said yes. You were like, okay, it all makes sense. Like it's like you just said it now. You had all the proof that it works.
Yeah.
All you had to
Yeah.
do was say yes to yourself. You know how like we keep reading things, we're like, okay,
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna keep reading it. Let me when's the conviction gonna happen? But for you, we're like, okay, I'm convicted. Yeah, it makes sense. Let me
Mhm.
just go for it. So I just really want to honor that decision you made, and I love every part of that. I love every part of your decision making process. So what was abundance rewiring like for you?
So abundance rewiring. So I've never done anything like this in my life. I've always like I've read a lot about it and I read a lot, and that's something I've come across. I haven't come across the actual phrase abundance rewiring. However, I've come across maybe similar things in terms of people saying healing and deep breathing and things like that. But the abundance rewiring was like a combination of so many things, and it was like a whole body experience. Like so there was like all the senses were engaged. um the whole going into the relaxing state and then being able to access the subconscious mind was really I think that was really healing for me because I didn't actually realize that people can come into your mind and help you heal. Like someone who, for myself, I mean, I used to overthink a lot, and I used to think I always get stuck in my mind, and people can never understand what's going on there. But I felt like in the abundance rewiring, you were able to kind of come with me in my mind and kind of decode everything that's going on in there. So that was for me like a huge takeaway. And and I didn't realize that I could actually go in there myself and change things. I thought it was just something that just happened to me and that's it. I didn't realize you can actually go in there and literally rewire things. So that for me was like an amazing experience. And yeah, that was basically the highlight, I think. And the fact that it's kind of done throughout the program, like throughout all the questions, the coaching, and then you have the energy clearing. So it's like the underlying sort of thing that you go throughout the program, and that's what I loved because it was so healing and good to go through these like sessions with the abundance rewiring. So yeah.
I love that. And girl, oh my gosh, yeah. I love the fact that you mentioned that it's so many things that are put together, and it's so
Yes.
true, like literally. And it's like, it's so funny, like each session has always been different, right? Like it was never the
Hmm.
same. I figured out,
Yep.
okay, we're working on this theme here. I got a feel for the session. I'm like, okay, I've got a feel for you ladies, what you really need. And then boom, we went straight into it. So I love the fact that you recognize that. And girl, oh my gosh, when you said, I didn't realize that you could heal your subconscious. Oh my gosh, girl.
Yeah, I
Like
didn't.
for me, that's just like the epitome of healing. Because a lot of people think that
Yeah.
they're stuck with this, pattern. Like so many women feel like they're stuck. Like there's no hope for me. Like I'm gonna stay in therapy for 20 years and I just have to deal with this problem. But it's like now you're realizing you don't have to deal with anything that you don't want to. You can just let it go and you can choose better. And I love that. I love that for
Yeah,
you. So
exactly.
what specific breakthroughs did you have in sacred feminine pleasure? Like share wherever you feel comfortable with. I would love to know.
So for me, like I think my whole healing journey, I suppose, started a little while ago when I went through a bit of trauma in the beginning of my marriage, and since then I just became really interested in reading about psychology. So I came across a bunch of things, and then after I got married, I had a baby, and that was kind of like the real blow to myself, I suppose, where when you have a child and then they trigger you, and then you start seeing these things about yourself, and you're just like, oh my God, like I have a lot to heal. There's so much going on inside that because you project it onto your child, and then you see it, and then you feel bad about it afterward because you're just like, why did I do that? Like, what was that? And so um, when I started the healing journey, I tried to, first I tried healing myself in my marriage, which ended up working out because I had a lot of communication with my husband. So um, and the program even helped me with that as well. But it was more so, I think, the relationship with my child and the whole parenting journey. For me, I kept getting the message that okay, you can be a conscious parent and you can respond instead of reacting. But I felt like it was just triggers kept coming back up, and so that's when I realized that there was like a very big mind body connection that I had to address, as well as these practices that um, I was learning about in terms of how to parent my child the right way. And that's kind of what led me to this. And then when I discovered you, and then I was like, oh my God, yeah, this would totally help me with that. Um, I this was for me the biggest breakthrough where I could actually see why I was behaving this way. So one thing I found that was really special was that I was able to actually link everything back to my own childhood, where, for example, my stressors that was causing me to be triggered by my child um, was actually things coming back from my childhood. So like feelings of like abandonment or feeling unlovable, like or something that for me personally was like, as a woman, like you always get shamed about your body, shamed about how you look, your weight, and all of these feelings of being unlovable come up, and that translates in the way you behave. Like you literally believe that, and then it creates your thoughts, and then your feelings, and your actions, right? And so when I realized that a lot of that was coming from that shame, I was like, oh my God, like, I didn't actually realize I could go back there, talk to that little girl, and, feel better after that. Like it was the best thing that happened for me. And then once that happened, I felt like everything else that we speak about in the program, like the aspects of love, confidence, money, relationships. It just all kind of made sense because that was that one thing that I was really trying to figure out, and I was able to figure it out. And so for me, that was the biggest breakthrough. And I just
Oh,
feel like I'm a better woman, a better mom. I mean, I'm aspiring, obviously, like this is just the beginning of my healing, like my real breakthrough, I suppose. So I'm gonna really like try and work on that and take everything that I've learned.
oh
Yeah,
God. Love the fact that you just said, I figured it out. Girl,
yeah,
you are like, you're healed. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize how priceless it is to figure it out. Because like some people, when they can't figure it out, they pop pills, they end up on like medication.
yeah, yeah.
Some people end
Hmm.
up like in a rehab, some people end up addicted, some people end up in therapy. And alhamdulillah, you figured it out. You figured out the connection between your pattern and what's going on with you and how it's
Hmm.
reflecting in your parenting, in your daily life. The fact
Yes,
that you figure out
alhamdulillah.
the pattern, this is where healing begins. Just like you mentioned, your breakthrough is when you can figure it out. And I just love that you mentioned that. Like for me, girl, alhamdulillah, that's just amazing. That's just the
Yeah,
icing
it
on
was.
the cherry on top. I'm just so happy to hear that. Oh my God.
I'm so happy. I'm so glad and grateful that I found you, and I can't I don't know how to thank you enough,
Oh,
honestly.
girl. Alhamdulillah. Oh my God, I love you, Fatima. So what would you
Oh,
say? What would you say to someone who's like on the fence, who was like you, reading my post, thinking, oh my God, this girl is speaking to me, has read my ebook, probably bought an audio as well, or is thinking
mhm,
about buying something from me. What would you say to them about investing in sacred feminine pleasure? Because so many women that I know want to join this program, but maybe something is holding them back. So what advice would you give them?
mhm. I would say, like, if you feel the need to heal, or if you have any sort of feelings in your life where you're kind of stagnant, or you're not feeling yourself, or you imagine a future where you're like, I could be that girl, but something is holding me back, or I could be that woman, but something's holding me back. I would say definitely go for this course. Consider it. At least go through all the posts, read everything you want about Rosaline. Like everything is just crystal clear on her page, everything. And I promise you, like you'll really resonate with a lot that like Sister Rosaline says. And even just as a woman, like I feel like a lot of the things that she articulates is just like you resonate with it so much. And because it comes from a woman, it comes from someone who has been through these things, and if you're in that stage where you're kind of you want to grow but you don't know how, like you try your hardest and then you fail and then you just don't know how to get out of that, like I think this program will be great. And another thing for me that was where I was having some difficulty was I think I had a lot. I probably still do, but I'm healing from that. And I think it's also about like the shame around money. And a lot of people don't actually realize they have shame around money until things like this come up, and then they second guess, or like they think twice, or then they start coming up with a list of reasons why maybe they shouldn't. And I'm so guilty of this, and I was so guilty of this. And I think this is the first program where I actually just did it. And I was afraid, like I was thinking, oh, it's a lot of money, and like I could be putting this money towards something else. But then I thought, you know what, if I did this, like it would make me a better person, and it would just make me flourish in so many other ways that maybe money couldn't buy. And also, like in the program, you actually learn about like if you're stagnant with money, or if you feel like you don't have enough of it, it's because you have to change your mindset about it. And so when I started doing that and allowing it to just flow, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go for it. The money will come back because I believe it will come back. I'm putting it in a place that I know it's going to be coming back to me. And so I just went with that. And so if that's what's holding you back, I would say just, you know, put that to the side and really trust in God that it will come back, and it'll come back, and you will be a better person for it. And it will come back tenfold, because after the person that you become on the program, you're going to find so many other sources of income that will just come your way. So yeah, that's what I would say to anyone joining.
Oh, girl, thank you so much for that. That's great. Guys, listen to Fatima, okay? She knows what she's talking about. She's been through it. She's literally been through what you guys are going through. Thinking, okay, shall I buy the course? Shall I not? Shall I invest? Shall I not? You just heard Fatima go through what all of you are thinking when it comes to investing. Just go for it, because you can't buy peace. You can't buy happiness. Yes, you can buy experiences that make you happy, but that fulfillment that you get inside, knowing who you are, because really we're living in a world where no one knows who they are. They're just following trends, following social media, thinking, okay, if I have this, it's going to make me happy. If I do this, it's going to make me happy. And you just left burnout. So I'm so glad that you experienced that kind of healing in the container. And one final question, actually, I forgot to ask you. What was it
Yes.
like healing with other women? 'Cause I know a lot of us think, okay, I need to do individual because that's where the shame comes up as well. Like we're afraid to heal with
Yes.
other women because we're afraid of judgment. What was it like healing with the other women? What was it like getting coached live in front of the other women?
It was so at first I thought it was like not going to be because I'm very introverted, especially with like new women. I feel like I have to take a little bit more extra effort to go out there and put myself out there. So for me, this was like I was like, oh, I wonder how it's going to be, and I was really excited for it, but at the same time, I was just afraid that oh, like how are the other women going to be? I'm not sure. Um, and I feel like it was a lot to do with like Rosaline, your energy and like being able to bring everyone together as well. And um, at first, I think maybe it started off a bit like everyone was a little bit more quiet, but then by the time we got to the next couple sessions, everyone started talking and opening up. And I think there's like a sweet spot where everyone just kind of pitches into the conversation, and then you learn from them, but you also see that they're all the same as you, and then that's when you realize that okay, like all of us women are going through the same thing, so if we just like share our problems and talk about it in a safe space and heal together, like there's so much you can get from it. And then it's also the friendships after that you make with these women, and it's important to make friendships with women that you've healed with because they get it, like they're going through that same process, and you can always kind of lean into them, have a conversation, get a pep talk or whatever it is. And because you've worked together in such an intimate space, you're able to just reach out to them and have a quick chat, or you share that very fond memory of healing with them, and it's a lifelong thing that we try and upkeep and do. And so I think it was actually really special that we were able to do it with a group of women. And by the end of it, we were all talking about things that were maybe considered taboo or things that women don't really like voice out to very women that you've just met. But I think it was so healing. It was so nice. It was so positive, and I would highly recommend trying it out because as someone who was initially having kind of like fear around it, I thought it was great by the end, and I'm really happy that we healed in a group because it was just so nice to be able to heal with other women and feel like you're not alone. Like it's not a journey you take alone, but it's something that you do together, and it's so much more like you feel so much more peace and happiness when you heal in a group, I think. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Oh, lifelong relationships, right? Because
Yeah.
when you heal and you create you become your real self, the people that you once were around maybe don't understand what you've gone through. So that's so true. You need to be around people who get you. And
Yes, absolutely.
who is better than that than your sister to create a bond with in Sacred Feminine Pleasure? Like the things we talked about. I know I'm not going to say it
Yes.
here, but the things we talk about. Oh my gosh, I was so happy that we were able to just
Yeah,
upload and speak our truth. Oh my gosh, I love that. And thank you
it
so
was
much, Fatima,
great.
for
Thank
sharing
you.
your
Thank you so
testimonial.
much.
I appreciate you. I'm so grateful for you. May Allah bless you always. I mean,
Inshallah.
and yeah, ladies, sign up for Sacred Feminine Pleasure like the said. All right, Fatima, I want to let you go. Thank you for your
Okay,
time.
no problem. Take care, Rosaline. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.